And this is part 2 of our Adobe Audition, using markers to make your editing faster. In this case, we're going to do it as we're recording. Stay tuned. Here we go. Welcome to Sounding Great, a podcast dedicated to you, your voice, your recordings, your audio, how you present yourself, and how people perceive you. Sounding great because you can.
You have a great voice, and you just love performing or talking. You might like to get into voice acting, but you don't know where to start. I wrote an ebook series called Get Clever about voice acting and announcing to help you find your way through the maze. Get clever today.
Lili Wexu, 15 seconds. She's quick. Take a look at that series. It's really good. Anyway, let's continue with our Adobe Audition training for markers. You know, in the last show, we told you how to use markers, how to create them, but we didn't tell you how to create them while you're recording. That's a whole new other area that you can also benefit from. So if you're doing recordings and you've got a script, let's assume that we're going to start recording now. Harold's going to start a recording in Audition.
So this is our Audition screen here, and let's start recording.
So now he's going to put in the first marker. That is LO1, PO1, A. That would be the lesson 1, page 1, and A would be maybe section 1, section 2 of that page. So we are now recording LO1, PO1, A. We always ask our voice talents to state the page name or slide name or whatever it's called, so that we can have a differentiator when we look at the scripts later on. And this is the end of that one. Now, Harold is going to leave about 3 seconds from now. Now we put in a second marker. This is LO1, PO2, A. And so this is our second bit of information. So now we have one marker before. This is our second marker. And when I'm done talking, he will give me about 2 seconds or 3, and then leave a little more space. Now, the reason we're giving the space, that second time, the 2 or 3 seconds of time, is so you see a visual marker of the space. That makes it real easy for the next step in a while. So now we have marker 3. This is LO1, PO2, B, section 2 of B. Blah, 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 blah. So now we have LO1, PO2C, section 3 of that page. Blah, 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 blah. And let's say we're done. We're done with this recording. So now we've created about 4 markers, and now we can go back and start naming them. So let's stop the recording.
So we're no longer recording. And what we can do here is, based on the visual of where you see these markers are, we can figure out where each clip is supposed to start and where it's supposed to end. So when you have the time selector tool open with the shortcut T, that's to use the time selector tool, you can click and drag and go from one marker to the other. And now that you've got a range of time selected, you can press M, and it creates a range of time marker. I'm going to zoom in on the marker panel there. You can see that this one has a duration to it, a start and an end point. And that's what you will actually need to export a clip.
Yep, and you would also name it. You would name the clip. Let's say in this case, I think it was LO1, PO1.
This one is going to be actually to name the clip. To name the last marker that you've created, you just press /. When you have Audition in focus, you press /, and we are going to name this LO1, PO1.
And again, as we mentioned in the previous one, you can set up favorites, which are like shortcuts or macros, that could combine, for example, the M and the /. So you've got your marker and region. But so there are things you can do to speed up the process. But that's how you would do this if you were recording at the same time in your editor. Most of the time, we are getting files from Voice Talent. So we do what we did in the previous video, which is cut it up as we're going through it. In this case, we're identifying marker areas so that where there are new page recordings or slide recordings, we can then go and find that real quickly and be able to mark them pretty quickly that way to save time. And those are all methods that work for whatever you're doing, whether you're recording yourself or whether you're editing the recording that somebody else did for you. Audition is pretty capable of putting together very good files, and then you would export them and you would get individual files with the name of the marker as your file name, plus .wave, .mp3, whatever you designate up front that you want to do. And just so you know, if you like to make MP3s out of things, don't. Always save it as a wave first. Then you can do a batch process to convert everything from wave to MP3. Keep your original good quality audio as long as you can, as long as you have space. Because MP3s, while nice, are lossy. You will lose quality the more you go into it. You may not lose it 1 or 2 times. If you're editing 3, 4, 5 times, it's going to start sounding not as good. It's a lossy format, so be careful with that. The WAV files don't do that. They're lossless. So keep that in mind as you're editing with MP3s. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, every time, even if you're thinking, I'm just going to clip off a little bit of the end of here. Every time you do that, it has to decode it and put it back through the encoder, and a little bit of information is lost every time. They call that generational loss.
Yep. And the more you do it, you just keep screwing your future generations over. What can I say? You have to be careful with that. So that's it for today. Just a quick secondary tutorial on markers. In the future, we'll have some other Audition tutorials. They're always good to have. And if you're looking for good Audition training, Peter Baker has a class on Audition, which is very good. And there's some other ones out there too. I think Lili Wexu may have done one. There are other. I know there's one on LinkedIn Learning. There's some very good training out there for Audition. What I like about Peter Baker's one, it's geared towards voiceover talents or voice talents, not just music, because a lot of these can also do music, and so can Audition. But what most of us are doing tend to be voiceover work or voiceover editing. So keep that in mind. Have a good one, everyone. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us either below or send us an email. You can always reach us if you do connect@relatecasts.net. connect@relatecasts.net. Have a good one. Thanks, and we will see you soon. Thanks, Harold.
Bye, everyone, and thank you.
And that's a wrap.